you guys, it's the Goddess Complex. I'm going to show you how to burn sage the simple way. Okay, this is one form of burning it, and if you don't know what sage is used in a lot of cultural rituals and practices and spiritual rituals, and just general cleansing. A lot of people just like to burn it because of the smell and the way they kind of resets of the aura around them. And as you can see, I have my little incense burning. This is another one as well, another way to kind of set the vibe, set the mood, also to clear out energy and things of that nature. But just like the incense, the sage one is becoming very popular. Actually, white sage currently is actually almost in a way extinct and harder to get because the mass demand for it. And a lot of people like to use it during meditation, prayer, yoga, just different things like that nature. And then some people just like the smell of it, like me. And also the spiritual, using it as a spiritual tool to clear out negative energy, entities, different spirits, dark, low energy spirits and things of that nature. But the basic way to burn sage, if you're going to see it at the bottom. Now this right here is mugwort sage. I normally have white sage, and that's like the go-to, but there's different forms of sage. I also have blue cedar sage. A lot stronger. A lot stronger. I wouldn't recommend starting with that one unless you just really like heavy herbally scents. I definitely say start with white sage, and also, like I said, mugwort has a very light sage. You also have rosemary and different forms of different bundles of sage. Lavenders with different, just different herbs and flowers and different things. So you can kind of literally makeshift your own one. Now this is what you call a sage one. All right, and this is considered a medium one, and you can also get one that's a little bit smaller. I burn through too much sage just to get the little one, so normally I get the really large one, and then also get like this one, your typical standard. This is considered the medium size of one, so your typical one. Okay, so this is mugwort, and I'll go into later the different types of sages and XYZ and what each one is for, just to break it down for you on a scientific, spiritual level. But what you're going to do, your base is always going to be where the twigs are. So you have majority twigs, and sometimes you'll see them up front. But with this particular type of sage, you see mostly the stems and twigs at the bottom, right? So that's going to be your handle, that's going to be your base. And what you're going to also need before you burn sage, you're going to have a flame-proof, fire-proof bowl. Something that can kind of handle heat. You can use, a wooden bowl if you want to. You can use a glass bowl. You can use a little glass, jar or anything like that. I've seen people use some of everything. But I like to use my charcoal burner, the metal steel kind of bowl, because it absorbs heat and it won't be, won't set anything on fire, won't overheat and, start a fire. So first thing first, safety first. And also where you're putting your sage, wouldn't want to put it on, I normally keep it on my altars or on my desk or on a dresser, pushed back away from items, just in case you just never know, okay? And also keep it away from curtains, anywhere where children and animals as well can top it over, knock it over, touch it or anything like that. Okay, so what you're going to do, you're going to grab the base, right? You're going to grab the base, and you're going to take your lighter or your match, and you're going to lightly start. As you can see, this is a fresh bundle. It's going to set a flame very quickly. When I say very quickly, and you're going to just lightly light it like that, and you will see the flame, especially when you first light your bundle. And then what you're going to do, of course, you're going to open a window, and you're going to open a front door or a back door. It just depends on your spiritual ritual when it comes to releasing this. But also just especially if you're going to do your whole home, make sure you open a window and open some type of door. But if you're just cleaning your aura lightly, when I say lightly light this, no matter what type of sage bundle you have, lightly light, and then of course you're going to go over your aura, your chakras, points, and things like that, but going over your aura, especially if you work around a lot of people, or you have a lot of people in the home, or you're doing energy work, especially if you're a Reiki healer, massage therapist, tarot reader, anything dealing with energy, right? Especially if you customer service, if you work in corporate America, in the offices, things of that nature. You can keep this in your car. I know people who literally keep sage like in their car, in their home, in their purse. They keep even like the little sage like incense. They keep it on hand because just to disconnect. Now mugwort, this is actually new for me, and I like it because the scent isn't so heavy. It still has that kind of smoky scent. But like I said, then there's different prayers and stuff like that. You can say anything from the book of Psalms. Psalms 42, Psalms 50, 52, 43. There's all different kinds. Also, there's smoke clearing affirmations or smoke clearing chants and mantras that you can chant as well to cleanse your home. There's different frequencies and prayers actually on YouTube that you can actually research as well to kind of play while you're sage, especially if you're just now getting into spirituality or even just prayer work and things, or spiritual practicing and things of that nature, right? So what you're going to do, especially to cleanse your items, like for crystals, you're going to place them right above it and kind of let the smoke engulf the crystal or whatever object you may be using, especially if you're using a pendulum, talisman, or anything like that. Let the smoke kind of engulf it. My flame is going out. As you can see right here, especially with the newer bundles, you see how it just lightly started going out? Some bundles are going to be like that. And then you have some bundles that are really thick, like really thick cut, thicker with more herbs and flowers and leaves and things of that nature. So the thicker the bundle, the more of the smoking point you're going to have. Also, the longer you leave it lit like this. So when you leave it lit like that, right? More of a smoking point it's going to have, the longer it's going to kind of last. And then sometimes you will see the flames like that, especially once you get down to the kind of midpoint, especially down to the end. Once you get down to this little piece right here, it will burn itself all the way down. So that's why you have to have a flame-proof container. Try to get a charcoal burner. If you have a cauldron, that'll work as well, or anything. But I normally get like the really big charcoal burners. Like this is very wide width. It looks like almost like a singing bowl. Like my singing bowl, it looks similar, but it's just not as deep. But, you know, get something like that. You can get a porcelain glass bowl or wooden bowl, anything like that. A lot of people like to use the shells and just different things to kind of hold their sage. But other than that, you sage yourself. I normally used to do this every day after work. I did it for like, I think, a year and a half straight. I had to work around a lot of people, especially energy work, especially if you are a tarot reader or any type of Reiki healing, anything, yoga, anything where you're interacting with people or giving energy or even receiving energy as well, so, which is, you know, just working with people, working with energy. You're going to do both, especially in those two industries. So making sure you're saging. Like I said, this is mugwort. There's several different types. There's dragon's blood. You have rosemary. You have your traditional white sage. You have your blue cedar sage, which is good for prosperity and stuff like that. So each type holds a certain key function far as like overall spiritual cleansing or healing or kind of what the intention for you're kind of looking for. But that's it. It is the best thing in the world. I love it. I know the smell it takes to get, you know, some like getting used to. It takes some getting used to. But like this one smells really good. It's very light. It's barely a mild smell. Okay, and then like you really have to really kind of watch it. Just watch it. As far as the scent, I know some people like cedar sage. Like me personally, it works. It's stronger than white sage to me, just to me. So it's normally between those two, and then like now the mugwort. And I'm gonna try a couple different ones, but with the white sage, I really prefer that one, far as working with, especially cleansing cards and things like that with it. Also, I mean, just objects, talismans, crystals, and cleaning objects, just cleaning, especially with the home. Especially we have a new moon coming up. Perfect. Get you some white sage, which I have to go re-up on some, and I need a big bundle this time. I'm trying to stock up on it just in case we have another little situation later this year. But yeah, I'm praying against that situation to happen. Yeah, because one quarantine is good enough. One quarantine is good enough. We don't need no more. But yeah, that's it. Sage is like, it's magical. I wish I would have started burning this earlier. But like I said, if you can't get sage, they do have like the sage incense. But just make sure you get a really good quality kind, basically. Also, there's things like Palo Santos. If you don't like sage, you can use Palo Santos. You can literally burn herbs and different flowers, a combination of that. So there's infinite possibilities, especially when it comes to smoke clearing and clearing out the energy, protecting yourself, especially if you're doing a lot of spiritual work, or even if you just literally just want to kind of clear out your mental space, especially if you have depression, anxiety, or you're under some type of stress. Just a lot of, and then also just if you have a lot of just, I call it gunk energy, just that blah energy. You just want to kind of renew yourself, which it happens to the best of us. But you know, just take some sage, clear it out. It also helps with thinking. It helps with calming yourself, thinking, just helping, especially if you're kind of trying to ground yourself and ground your energy. It's perfect. So that is how the simple way to burn sage. Now there is a different way to burn it, especially with the herbal leaves. Also, that goes into the resin and also different types of incense and different herbs and stuff like that. So there's infinite, like I said, infinite possibilities. But starting with sage, I normally tell people start with sage first and kind of ease your way into it. So I will definitely show you guys how to, the second way to burn herbal loose leaf sage in resins. So you stay tuned for that part. It'll be up, probably next week. Like I said, I'm waiting on some other stuff. I have to kind of order and re-up first so I can show you guys some goodies. So I do have some goodies I've been wanting to share with you guys, but you just stay tuned for that. But just start with sage. It's very easy. It's very simple. And when you're cleansing your aura, just know that that smell does, wear off. But the more you do it, especially when you're saging your home or even saging your aura, or even saging your objects, the more you do it, the more it becomes familiar to you, the more you get comfortable with it. And the more that you kind of start noticing stuff. So if you don't notice it the first time you're saging, just keep doing. And like I said, with me, spiritually, I try to sage at least once a week, if not once a week. Normally, like especially if I'm doing any kind of tarot or anything like that, I'm gonna sage every time because you have to clear out the energy and stuff like that. Especially if you're interacting, especially if you have a lot of technology, technical devices, phones and TVs and radios and all this kind of different things that have different frequencies and different different waves, different energy waves and stuff like that. Just clearing it out, unplugging, clearing it out, saging, getting that energy out, and then boom. So far as saging your home, at least once a month if you can. I know I try to aim at least once a month. If you can do it once a week, that's even better. You can do it every day, that's even better. But just remember, when you're saging, make sure you have a flame-proof bowl. Make sure you have this, of course, the sage you're choosing. Making sure you're placing your sage and your bowl in a safe place, like on your altar and away from any flame-proof, flammable objects or anything that could catch fire, or away from children and animals, of course, or anything or anyone that may, situation that may knock it off, and boom, you got a fire. Nobody needs that problem, especially not now. And then also just making sure you're setting your intentions while you're saging. Making sure you're releasing that energy. Open the door or a window to remove that energy. And if you're just doing a simple aura clearing, just lightly light your sage, and also just making sure you're clearing the energy out. And when you're clearing, you're doing the aura, lightly sage yourself. Also, pray and cover yourself. You do your affirmation, do your chants, and all that beautiful, lingo, whatever is going to help you set your intention and kind of get your mind and your body and your spirit all in one alignment. It's up to you. But how you use sage, you want to do it, it's totally up to you. But making sure you're releasing that energy, especially even if you're doing oral, just simple oral, like a light oral cleansing, to make sure you're releasing it out. Also doing your breathing techniques when you're releasing it as well. So that's the basic way to use sage. That's how I do it. That's one way of doing it. That's just the basic way. But there are different ways to smoke clear, especially using sage. So I will show you guys how to do the loose leaf sage with the herbs and stuff like that. And that's another way of saging as well, or smoke clearing or smudging. But the thing about smudging, that is a cultural term. So just say smoke clearing, unless you are an indigenous person, because that comes from different cultures and stuff like that. So just to be respectful, through my research, just to be respectful, we just say, saging or smoke clearing. Okay, so thank you for watching. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe. Thank you to all the new subscribers. I'm so thankful for you. Thank you. So hopefully, if you have any questions, please comment, below. Like the video, share it. If you know someone who's interested in saging or wants to kind of learn a little different, items and information and about how to use spiritual tools and things of that nature, you come on this way, and bring a friend. Share this video. And thank you so much for watching. And if you've subscribed, thank you for subscribing. And I will see you guys in the next video.